Wieder da, wieder da, wieder da. Und übrigens, ihr habt das schon richtig gemacht. Es ist Clap, 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 Trap Time. Borderlands 3. Ich hoffe, ihr seid alle genau dafür da, weil das wird absoluter Wahnsinn. Seid ihr für Borderlands da? Ein bisschen lauter, sonst höre ich nichts. Borderlands! Geht doch! Wunderbar, wie ihr am Stuhl-Setup schon erkennen könnt, wenn ihr den Rest des Tages hier wart, dann habe ich einen Gast, der uns Borderlands näher bringen wird. Borderlands 3, den neuesten Teil der Serie. Hat ja ein bisschen gedauert, ne? Borderlands 2 ist schon eine Weile her, seitdem wir all die Bösewichte ins All schicken konnten und sie alle dahinraffen sahen. Ja, ich würde sagen, wir gehen direkt los, damit ihr Jungs nicht so lange warten müsst. Ich habe als Gast jemanden, der die ganze Storyline so gut kennen sollte, denn sein Titel ist Managing Producer Narrative. Hier ist Randy Varnell. Randy, nice to have you. Have a seat. Take one. I knew that was happening. No. Roll over, Claptrap. I was wondering if you actually roll into that. That would be cool.
Oh, I don't know. You said take it. I was going to lift it up and take it off the stage. I mean, we talked about, boats earlier and taking stuff home.
But as long as you don't have Sanctuary Free with you, you can't take it.
No.
There's no way you get all of that in your car.
No, it would be tough. I don't think I could check this on the plane, but maybe Sanctuary.
We will help you with that, checking that. That's pretty. Before we dive too much into Borderlands 3, because I'm a fan of the series, you obviously should be, right? You're in there.
Oh, yeah.
What about all the people that might not know Borderlands 3 yet, or Borderlands? What is it?
Sure, Borderlands is a first-person action adventure game. This is actually the 10th year anniversary for our release of Borderlands 1. We released it back in 2009. But what it's really known for is you play as a player, as a vault hunter. You are a treasure hunter. You're searching out for these ancient alien vaults that are full of mystical powers and giant monsters and loot. It was one of the original looter-shooter games. We combined first-person shooter action with an RPG and a great loot game. And what we were really known for is a lot of random gear, especially guns and shields and grenades, all sorts of ways to loot the world, find great stuff, and make a lot of mayhem, is what we say in this campaign.
And definitely known for blowing up things in a fun way.
Oh,
we know that. The sense of humor and then just blow the whole world up. That is great. We heard already 2009, that was the first original Borderlands. But since Borderlands 2, there's already quite a while until we started into 3. What happened?
It's been 7 years, in fact. We released Borderlands 2 in 2012. And if you don't forget, I mean, there have been a few other games in there. Just a couple of years after that, we released Borderlands the Pre-Sequel, which happened... was released after Borderlands 2, but for events before Borderlands 2, but expanded the universe, did more there. And we actually did a deal with a company called Telltale, God rest their souls, and is longer with us. And we did Tales of the Borderlands, which is a little bit more narrative, kind of choose-your-own-adventure type story with our characters and universe. But yeah, we've been experimenting with other things. I was creative director on Battleborn. We released another game in there. We tried that, and it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. And that really got us ready for this moment here at Borderlands 3. So we've been working on Borderlands 3 now for about 3 or 4 years. It's the biggest game we've ever made with the biggest team we've ever made. And dude, there is so much to experience in this game. It's great.
When it's a big world and there are a lot of enemies and boss fights and everything you can actually blow up, then we know that gunplay is super important. Are there any improvements on the gunplay?
Oh, absolutely. One of the cool things that we did from Borderlands 2 to Borderlands 3 is we actually changed the engine that the game was running on. We updated it from Unreal 3 to Unreal 4. Now, I say that's a really technical thing. I know it's boring for a lot of folks, but what it means is we had an opportunity to actually rebuild the gunplay from the ground up in Borderlands 3. So one of the things I'm most excited about, I worked on Borderlands 2. I've been with Gearbox long enough to do that. And Borderlands 2, I love it. I thought the guns were fun. We had millions and millions and millions of guns in Borderlands 2, and it's certainly... Lots of people have played that. A lot of you guys have experienced those guns at different manufacturers, and I'm sure if we had a big fireside chat here, everybody has a different favorite. But when we took the opportunity in Borderlands 3 to really reinvent what was the kind of the beating heart of our game, the guns are spectacular. We updated just the handling, the feel of the guns, the audio for the guns, the way that. But we looked at every one of our manufacturers, all those great ones like Jacobs and Vladoff and Malawan and Hyperion, and we tried to find new ways to make the gameplay really cool. So you're going to find a lot of different types of games. In fact, we brought in a whole new weapons manufacturer called Atlas. You ever seen the movie Fifth Element?
Yeah.
So Fifth Element, one of my favorite movies, right? And they have this gun in Fifth Element where Gary Oldman is playing, I think, Zorg there, and he does it, and he shoots a single shot at the enemy, and then he turns around and every other shot homes into that enemy. That's the Atlas gun in Borderlands 3. So if you ever love that movie and want to relive having homing bullets, that's what Atlas does. So brand new gameplay, and of course, I don't know if you've seen the trailers and all that. We've done some other crazy things. We have, for the first time ever, guns with legs. So in Borderlands 2, we had Tediore guns, right? Which instead of reloading them, you throw them as grenades and they explode. Well, we wanted to up the stakes for that Borderlands 3. So in Borderlands 3, sometimes you throw them out and instead of exploding, they sprout little legs and they run around and they home in on the enemies. It's adorable and devastating, and it's just great. It's a lot of fun.
Once again, it will be very chaotic on the screen, I assume. I mean, all those weapons, all those different types. But what is your favorite type on that?
Oh my gosh, right now, so I've been trying to play the game, finally. We've only been able to do that for the last 4 or 5 months as we've landed the game and all that. I've been trying to play the game just like a player was. And me, you know, Borderlands 2, it was all about the Maliwan sniper rifles. Maliwan has elements like you can get fire or acid or, you know, corrosive or shock or whatever. And I was always, you know, I'm going to stand in the back and I'm going to shoot because I don't like to be threatened. I'm kind of old. Sometimes I don't see so well, don't hear so well. Like, Borderlands 3, the shotguns are freaking amazing. They're so good. And my absolute favorite in Borderlands 3 are Torg shotguns. So Torg, as a manufacturer, Mr. Torg, you know, he's all about explosions. Every time you see Mr. Torg, he's all, you know, kind of roided up. He's got the do-rag and the mullet. He's really cool. Torg shotguns in Borderlands 3, every time you shoot Torgs, they always explode, right? So a shotgun is actually shooting out these little patterns of grenades or whatever go out. But one of the things we added in miniguns in Borderlands 3 is an alternate firing mode. So one gun almost becomes 2 guns. So mini Torg shotguns, you can take those cool explosions, bullets, you can put it in the alternate firing mode and change it to sticky grenades that all trigger when you reload. So I spent like 3 or 4 hours one afternoon. I probably shouldn't have. I don't know what it says about me as a person. Running around trying to get all of the grenades stuck on enemies' heads. and then just about the time they thought everything was okay, I'm like, reload. And you know, a really cool explosion and all that. I don't know. Sometimes it's cool, but it's really, really fun and just literally one of the hundreds of examples of different type of guns and weird gameplay that you're going to find as you dig into the guns of Borderlands 3.
Must be hard to have your teammate. I mean, I need help. It's like, Randy, help me out, help me out. You're just like, I'm nearly finished. I can't kill anyone until I got all the grenades stick to heads of enemies.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Now.
Like, I'm dead, but hey, who cares? No, it's all that fun, I get that. But sometimes you can't just stay in the background and not being shot at. So you need evasive maneuvers, right? And you guys implemented new movement.
Yes. One of the things we really wanted to do is, you know, Borderlands has kind of always been a move around, kind of sometimes in cover, but it's not really a cover-based shooter. It's a very active game, a very action-oriented game. And staying on that theme of action-oriented, we really wanted to bring in some things that just felt the game be modern. So we added a couple of really cool movement features. We added sliding, of course. You've seen that in a lot of games recently, but we added some of our own twists with it. We also added mantling. So for the first time in the junkyards of Pandora, you can climb up on top of that, you know, corrugated steel building and shoot down at the enemies below. It gives you it really is a freedom of movement that you've never had in a Borderlands game before. And then we brought in a favorite. So in Borderlands, the pre-sequel, you were on the moon of Pandora called Elpis, and there were some low gravity areas. And one of the things we added in that game was internally we call it the butt stomp. And it was when you're in the air, you could hit a controller combo. It caused you to kind of crash down to the ground and do a kind of a big an AoE attack and all that. So we've brought that into Borderlands 3 as well. So between those 3 things, you have this very fluid, you know, run, sprint, slide, jump. And then my favorite is you can actually slide into our explosive barrels and kick them up in the air. And if you're really good, you can run, sprint, slide, explosive barrel, kick it up in the air, shoot it out of the air, explode, does damage to the enemy there. There's a lot of cool stuff that just, man, it's fun to play, it's fun to watch. It really is just taking our action that we're known for and take it up to the next level and just giving you a lot of freedom as players to play in a lot of different ways.
I can see my hands already on the controller looking like this.
Yeah, right.
Trying to do that. Yeah, that's it. So we'll probably throw 1 or 2 of them into the wall, but that's for all that. Now that you said that we can actually climb things up, environmental aspects get more important, right? So what do you do on that one?
On which part?
Environmental aspects of the game.
I'm sorry, one more time, old person.
Environmental aspects.
Oh, environmental aspects. Yeah, so we, like I said, we start with the explosive barrels. That's already cool. You already have some cool stuff there. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. We don't talk about this a lot, but in that big engine change where we up-res all the graphics, we now have a day-night cycle in Borderlands.
Oh, that's something.
So yeah, it's really cool. And because like a lot of things, there are a lot of cool things that light up. We all have this cool neon signs around where you see stuff. But man, seeing those in like the dusk and the night environments are really cool. We have a type of character called a siren in Borderlands. Well, I know we'll talk more about characters in a second, but they have these glowing tattoos. And our siren characters at night look badass. They really, really, really look cool. But when you're talking about environment, not only did the day-night cycle, but scattered around the map are a lot more interaction with the environments. We wanted to be sure that, like, if you see a puddle of water and shoot it with a shock weapon, well, it should probably shock enemies standing in it. So you can do that. There are, pipes and tubes scattered around our post-apocalyptic wasteland. And of course, as you do, a lot of them are filled with, corrosive acid. So you shoot them and the corrosive acid splashes down the enemies. And sometimes it's flammable stuff and you can shoot it with fire and it blows up. But we really tried to think of a lot more ways to work with the environment and give you a lot more options to use some of the cool tools you've had in previous Borderlands, but have never been able to use them this way before. It really is cool.
Sounds like a lot of new and exciting stuff coming to Borderlands 3. Was there any impact or influence from other games you did at Gearbox that helped to shape Borderlands 3?
Well, I mean, sure. I talked earlier, I said outside Gearbox, like, Battleborn was a big one for us that really got us there. Battleborn was a game with 30 different playable characters. We spent a lot of time really honing how to make good characters and how to make action skills. When we came to the Vault Hunters in Borderlands 3 then, a lot of those same character designers that worked on Battleborn came right into that game and took a lot of those wild experimentations that we had in Battleborn and brought them to there. And we play a lot of games, and we're looking at everything that's out there. I mean, certainly Destiny and Apex, and we play a lot of the Blizzard titles. And we want to be sure that we're on par with that type of really cool gameplay, but we don't want to lose the flavors that make us uniquely ours, right? We have a kind of a really high style. We have an art style that we're known for. We kind of have a really dark tone, a sense of humor that we're known for. And we have a lot of action in our gameplay. And when you make we said it in marketing, but it's true. We have over 1 billion different guns in this game with our procedural gun generator. It's actually even more than that. We debate internally over what that real number is, but it is well over 1 billion. But when you do that, we wanted to be sure that all of those things are still uniquely us. So yeah, we watch other competitors and we take from them, but we really wanted to be sure that Borderlands is still Borderlands and that our fans feel right at home and get the best version of that with some new cool stuff added on top of it. So,
talking about feeling at home, we obviously know that the characters are an important part of Borderlands, and you got quite a few of them now across Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, now going into 3. How do we make sure that they're all on screen? I mean, I'm a huge fan of Claptrap. Will you make sure that there's enough cool moments with Claptrap and everyone else that people love?
Oh man, it was actually one of the biggest challenges. So I run the narrative team for the project. I'm now head of world development at Gearbox. I get to work with all of our stories and franchises.
You heard that? That's, by the way, a title at Gearbox. Head of world.
Yeah,
it must be a pretty badass ID card. I need that one as well.
It probably sounds bigger than it is, but what it really means is I get the privilege, and I'm so grateful for it, to really work with all of our great designers and all of our storytellers and all that, to find out what makes those characters in those worlds exciting. So when we sat down with a group at the table of Borderlands 3 to think about, like, man, we've got this huge cast of characters, literally hundreds of characters now, and we look at our fans, our cool fans out there that really like them, and try to figure out, like, okay, what are the characters that people like the most? What should we bring back? What do we want to do new? We wanted to be respectful to that. Here we have Lilith, on the screen there. Lilith is one of our more important characters, and she's certainly important for Borderlands 3. We updated her a little bit to give her a big role, but we wanted some room to grow to, so we brought a lot of familiar back. There's some characters I know we're not going to bring back for this one, but we'll get to them, I promise. We'll be back. We'll be back for them. But when we really made our new player characters, our new Vault Hunters, Flak, Mose, Zane, and Amara, we really wanted to be sure to create cool characters that were a little bit different than what people have seen before.
Can you tell us a bit more about those, like, 4 new Vault Hunters?
Right.
What makes them unique? What can I expect if I dive into Borderlands 3 now? What can I play?
Well, when you start with gameplay first, the big thing we did is we gave you more ways to use that action skill, right? So Vault Hunters, you get all the guns, you get all the loot, you can build out your characters you want, but you also have this great talent tree of different things you can do. I want my character to be more defensive. or I want to be more offensive, or I want to do more with explosions, or I want to be a sniper, right? So we continued that trend for Borderlands 2, but now, rather than just having one action skill that you use, every character has 3 action skills, but beyond that, every character has different ways, different things you can unlock and ways you can augment those action skills. So like, let's take Amara, our siren, for example, who sprouts arms from around her and likes to beat up enemies with them, right? You can do several different things with those. You can do one that's a big punch. You can do one that's like a projection, so she could stay at distance a little bit. And then we pulled in a little bit of Maya from Borderlands 2. She could do another where a big hand comes out of the ground and grabs enemies in a bubble and holds them so you could shoot them. Like, I don't like enemies that are wiggling too much, so sometimes that's good for me. But you can take that then and add different things to those. You can make those bubbles fill the enemies with fire or electricity, or you can change the length or other effects that apply. There are a lot of different ways to play with that. So we really enhanced the gameplay. But I think even in that, like, I'm so proud of our characters. Like, Amara is amazing. For the first time, kind of, we have a more Southeast Asian character in our game as a playable character. We have an amazing voice actress, Zara Fuzzle, who's done some other stuff that came in and did work on that. And Amara just sounds tough. She's kind of a neighborhood defender, a badass. And you contrast her with someone like Zane Flint, who is kind of our Irish rogue, when we have him. We really want that cool, tough kind of, imagine James Bond, but he has a little bit of that tough street Irish thug in him. And we did that. We actually got a cool Irish voice actor, Kean Barry, who came in and did the part for that. And he really, it's about half joke and half serious, but he's literally the James Bond who's worked for everyone in the universe and has a lot of stories to tell. And he's both your best friend and your worst enemy, almost. It depends on where he is in the evening, but, he has a lot of that. But then here, this is a great one, Flack, the Beastmaster, a true pet class for the first time ever of Borderlands. You can really live that fantasy of having one of 3 pets. You can get a spider ant, this kind of monkey-like creature called a jabber who is armed with a gun. You don't want to mess with him. Or a skag, one of our dog-like creatures we've had in Borderlands since the beginning. And Flack's really cool. And then I really can't leave off without talking about Mose, our gunner. Like, every Borderlands has kind of had the soldier class, right? We had Roland in Borderlands 1 and Axton in Borderlands 2. Mose, though, we wanted to do something that wasn't just another turret. So we put legs on the turret and arms on the turret. We made a mech. So Mose actually gets to summon Iron Bear, jump in a mech, which you can, by the way, customize with whatever weapons you want on it. She has a bunch of different hard points. You can put rocket, you can put missile launchers, you can put grenade launchers, you can put a minigun. You can, if you like rock'em sock'em robots, you can put 2 fists on it and go around and punchy, right? But Moses are really cool. So I could go on and on and on, but you probably want to talk a little bit. So many different ways to play those Vault Hunters, and we really, really, really tried to go above and beyond what you've seen before in a Borderlands game.
Oh, I'm just happy about that because I play the soldier class. And it was always about, you're not really the coolest guy, dude, right? You got all the amazing weapons, but you place a turret, and everyone is like, I can do way cooler than that.
Yeah.
So I'm more than happy that there is something to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of
that. Very classic role that mostly is played the same way. So having a bit of a unique touch to it is always great. But when I dive into the actual journey, it's not really a journey, it's basically all-out war mostly in Borderlands 3. What's the cycle of slaughter? Where do we go there? What's that? What can we do?
So Circle of Slaughter is something we've had in the Borderlands before, and it's a really, we know that like the core of our game really is single player, up to 4-player co-op. We even support 2-player split screen on consoles. If you want a couch co-op, we still have that in Borderlands 3. But so much of that game is about playing through the story, playing through missions and side quests, doing cool adventures. When you want to break from that type of gameplay and you want something that maybe is a little bit shorter session or a little bit different way, the Circle of Slaughter is literally an arena-based combat with multiple waves. I talked about Mr. Torg of the Torg weapon manufacturer earlier. He's running those again. He's the announcer, and he's invited you to come in and get into a big-on, all-out brawl to kind of prove yourself in that and slaughter a bunch of enemies. So the Circles of Slaughter is something we're bringing back. It's been a fan favorite, and we want to do that. But we also have a brand new thing that we're talking about this week that's really cool. It's kind of that on steroids. Internally, we call them the Proving Grounds. I think they're called the Iridian Trials. This is a new way, like it kind of blends story and challenge together. So in Borderlands, the Iridian are these ancient alien peoples who have built the vaults. They've left this tech, these artifacts scattered all over the universe. Now, they also left the Proving Grounds. So one of the things you'll be able to do in Borderlands 3 is translate some of their ancient writing and kind of follow clues and mysteries, and eventually unlock the proving grounds, which are another way to really have a timed, challenge-based trial of completing certain objectives. The more objectives you complete, the better the quality of loot you're going to get at the end of it. So there are multiple of those that get kind of progressively harder, unlock more of this story about the Iridian and what it means to be to pass the proving grounds. And it was just another way to kind of get in and have a different experience, to challenge yourself with the great play and characters and loot we have in Borderlands.
So many different ways to become an even bigger badass. That's always
right.
great. We saw in the trailer, there's, besides the badass Vault Hunters, they also, let's say, the A-hole twins, the Calypso twins. Can you elaborate a bit on who they are, what do they want?
I love the Calypsos, right? We're following kind of a really great villain in Borderlands 2. You know, I was talking just a little bit earlier about Handsome Jack. And Handsome Jack was really cool. You know, he was
the best. I mean, he could have been in Hero instead. But.
He was, yeah, and he thought himself the hero of his own story, and he got in your face. And, you know, I loved him because he would taunt you when he talked about his pony, the Slithery made out of diamonds. I don't know what to call it. Maybe, you know, butt stallion. Yeah, just a little, you know. But he would get in your face and talk about that, and then he thought you were the bandit. And when we came down and kind of designed the Calypso twins for Borderlands 3, we wanted some of those same things. You know, we wanted enemies that would be in your face, would have a reason to taunt you and do all that. But we wanted something that was relevant to 2019. So what we really thought, what are the things that are really unique about our industry right now? When we look around it, social media, YouTubers, live streamers, influencers everywhere, that's so important to everything that's going around in our culture right now. So at the heart of it, the Calypso twins are streamers. There are places in the game where they're doing their bad stuff, right? And they literally pop out a camera drone that follows you around and is recording video footage that they're live streaming out to their followers, who happen to be psycho bandits. Not the smartest crowd in the world, but they're easily to, you know, get. But we really imagined, you know, not the good streamers that we work with, but what would happen if a really popular streamer decided they wanted to militarize their influence, that they told all of their streamer base to start doing bad stuff. And that really is where the Calypso twins got their start. You know, so they share some of those kind of taunt and camera and cult of personality with Handsome Jack, but they go even further. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but it really gets dark late game, and they will be a villain that you will need to take out.
That's right. When we're talking about taking out, you said to me that there's finally a chance in Borderlands 3 to actually explore new worlds.
That's right.
But for that, since it's Borderlands 3, it's not just any ship. It's a Sanctuary 3.
Sanctuary 3, right? In Borderlands 2, you had Sanctuary, kind of the flying city hub that was your base of operations. In Borderlands 3, we have Sanctuary 3. We just don't talk about Sanctuary 2 at all. We just leave that out. A bad moment. But you get to, for the first time ever, really to earn that spaceship that serves as your hub. Now, you don't get it's not a space combat game. You don't get to fly it around. But Sanctuary serves as that spaceship that you get to decide where you want to go, and the Sanctuary ship will take you there. But it is your home base. You have a room there. You've got your friends there. You're going to get a lot of your missions there. And you're going to see those great familiar characters and friends that you've made from the other, and maybe make some new ones that'll appear up. A really great home base for you in the stars, where you get to store all of your stuff, maybe like stools.
That will be good. I mean, we only got 2 of them, right?
Oh, yeah, that's great.
We could have had so many more people here. But never mind, though, it happens, right? But your game is also known for, obviously, the humor. That's what brought myself into Borderlands 3. Yeah. And there are a lot of parodies normally for like movies, people. We know that there's now a cameo in the new Borderlands 3 with Ice-T as a teddy bear, by the way.
That's right.
Crazy stuff. Can you tell us maybe one thing that we can expect there?
I'm scanning the crowd for the ninjas that will take me out if I say too much, but all I could say right now is that we definitely didn't want to lose that type of kind of connected to current events humor there. Now, it's maybe not as meme-filled as Borderlands 2 was. There's still some of that there, but I mean, there are things like, man, I really can't say. I want to. I've got this list of things.
No one is listening. No, it's all right.
It's just you and me, right?
Don't worry.
There's some good ones. That's all I'll say for now. We're only 23 days away from the launch of Borderlands 3, September 13th, Friday the 13th. We're going to release Borderlands 3, and I really don't want to step on the experience for everyone here, because part of humor is being surprised, and there's a lot of great. But But I will say a little bit more about Ice-T, who is playing an AI named Balex, who is trapped in a ship on our swamp planet Eden 6. When you find him, he's been trapped in a teddy bear and is not happy about that. So,
what is bad about being a teddy bear?
Well, I mean, when you're a badass like Ice-T, you might not be too happy. But you've seen a little bit of that mission. There's another AI, Genevieve, who, if I give away a little bit of that mission, they were AI lovers. I don't know how that works, but they were there. They had a relationship, and that went bad. And so you get to help them, like, you're kind of like their domestic counselor in a way. You get to rescue them from the teddy bear. You get to help them resolve that dispute. And I don't know, maybe there will be some cool rewards that come from the end of that mission. I don't want to spoil anything, but it doesn't stop there with Balex, with Ice-T, and what he gets to do. But you'll get to discover that on your own in just a little bit. It's really fun.
23 days, he said. That gives you another 23 days to send me a code. That's totally fine. I'm okay with 20 days.
I'll get right on that.
Put it in.
A code.
That's not working yet, as far as I know.
No, it wasn't. That was just my watch.
He's faking it and not getting one. That's so harsh. I'm all good. That was a lot of stuff, Borderlands 3, and I'm absolutely sure, because we talked in the back already before, there's so much more on Borderlands 3, what makes
it's an immense game.
Crazy stuff. But thanks, Randy, for being here. That was really
Thank you very much,
awesome.
Pleasure.
Thanks for the time. Randy Varnell, he is actually, head of world
development.
No, we just leave that out.
Okay.
It sounds more badass. Head of world development. Randy Varnell, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Oh mein Gott. Genau so ist es. Ich habe gerade gedacht, was für ein Typ, wenn du den ohne Kontext siehst, weißt du, wenn du einfach nur den Kameraausschnitt, vielleicht noch mit dem blauen Hintergrund und das war's, und dann siehst du jemanden sagen, und dann bin ich losgegangen und habe die Klebegranaten allen an den Kopf geklebt und auf einmal so, boom,
der einzige Moment, wo es voll okay ist, darüber zu reden, wie viele lustige Varianten es gibt, jemanden umzubringen.
Richtig, ja.
Ja, Borderlands 3, da geht
das. Aus. Dann trittst du gegen das Fass und dann explodiert's. Ist ein Hammer. Du, wo wir uns gerade so schön unterhalten, ne? Mag jemand Horizon Zero Dawn? Ich hätte da ein Amulett mitgebracht. Aha.
Also ich weiß, ich soll sonst immer nicht persönlich werden, aber ich weiß, dass die beiden die ganze Zeit da saßen, weil jedes Mal, wenn ich auf die Bühne gekommen bin, seit 3 oder 4 Segmenten, ich finde, das sollte belohnt werden.
Dann müssen wir das so machen. Ich sage euch was, in Halle 5.2 gibt es den offiziellen PlayStation-Merch-Stand. Unbedingt mal vorbeischauen, wenn ihr solche Sachen haben wollt. Oder aber unbedingt bei uns an der Bühne vorbeischauen, denn wir haben gerade eine ganze Kiste.
Ab 2020 dann auch mit meiner Figur so.
Komm her.
Das wäre super.
Bitteschön. Ich bringe dir gleich auch eins, okay?
Meinst du, ich kann eine eigene Figur kriegen? Irgendwie so?
Ja, auf dem Klo sitzen vielleicht, oder?
Ich frage die Jungs von Gearbox, vielleicht kann ich sowas als Borderlands-Figur haben.
Meine Lieben, ich bin eigentlich nur ganz kurz rausgekommen, euch zu erklären, was es gleich noch alles gibt. Wir werden Marvels Iron Man VR hier oben besprechen auf der Bühne. Da haben wir den Ryan Darcy da, Designer des Spiels. Der wird uns jede Menge geile Insights geben können. Außerdem, Achtung, 16:45, Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Darum geht's. Wir haben ein Pferd zu Besuch zwischendurch. Man weiß nicht wieso.
Ist das nicht ein Zebra?
Ja, das ist auf jeden Fall.
Wie viele Pferde kennst du, Matze?
Was soll ich sagen?
Ist das ein Pferd?
Nein.
Oder ein Zebra? Ein Zebra.
Ach, komm schon.
2 Zebras.
Es ist ein Pferd, aber es ist manchmal Karneval in Köln.
Ich wollte gerade sagen, auch Pferde verkleiden sich gerne mal zu Karneval. Voll gut.
17:45. Wo sind die FIFA-Spieler? FIFA 20, wer kann's schon?
Nee, ja. Kann doch keiner können, das gibt's noch gar nicht.
Ich sag mal, ja, kann ja sein, dass er irgendwo heimlich angezockt, keine Ahnung.
Das hoffen wir noch nicht.
Trailer gesehen, was auch immer. Also außerdem überschätzt sich jeder auf der Gamescom. Wer ist der beste FIFA 20-Spieler? Diese 5 Menschen melden sich. Es ist überhaupt kein Problem hier. Wir werden das testen. 17:45, es geht um PlayStation Controller. Ja, schickt euch.
Und danach gehen wir nochmal zurück zu Square Enix und Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Nachdem wir Final Fantasy VII Remake heute Morgen hatten, jetzt Final Fantasy VIII, aber wie gesagt, erst später am Tag. Vorher noch all die Sachen, die Matze schon aufgelistet hat. Ich habe meine Liste, ich weiß auch nicht. Ich weiß nicht, warum ich das falsch rum aufgeschrieben habe. Aber es sieht auch komisch aus, wenn ich das den ganzen Tag so halten würde.
Shit happens. Jetzt wisst ihr jedenfalls Bescheid. Achtung, ja. 15:45 gleich Marvels Iron Man VR. Außerdem haben wir noch einen Trailer für euch und den gibt's jetzt. Viel Spaß.